Yo, what's good people, it's JayCactus, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to use Grime bass. A lot of people have been requesting this in the comments and in the DMs recently, so I thought the easiest way to show you is just to cook up a beat from scratch and then make sure that I use Grime bass in it. And to be honest, there's not really a certain way that you need to use Grime bass. You can use it how you want, but I want to explain my thought process, so I won't waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Alright, so I'm thinking I want to use some stringed instruments for this one, so I've pulled up Expand 2. I'm starting off with a koto, but I might switch it to a guitar in a bit, but I'll see what I can come up with. So I'm going to find a chord that I like first. Maybe just a C minor chord. I could break it up though. So when you're using stringed instruments like guitars, you want to think about how they're played in real life. So guitars, they don't play all the notes at the same time. So when you're finding the chords, I like to put the notes like just after each other to make it more realistic. Yeah, I think I got something. And then with the bass notes as well. It's just going from C to G, but I want to add a passive note, so like that. It's sounding hard already. And you know what? I'm going to add the Grime bass now because I know that's what you all came to watch the video for. So usually I'd add some drums and then do that last. And to be honest, I don't use Grime bass in the whole duration of the track. I'll maybe pick out a section like the hook. And when I'm using Grime bass, I won't use as many of the 808s. So I think I might start with the hook or just one section in the track. I haven't really decided how I'm going to arrange it yet, but I'll show you what I mean. So really I just listen and I kind of hear where I think the Grime bass is going to go. So I have like the 808 as the main bass, so that might hit at the start. And then the Grime bass can be like the complementary bass, if you get me. Like, I'll show you what I mean. So a bass would hit straight away. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. That's what I'm hearing in my head, so I need to work out where them notes are going. So the Grime bass is from a new drum kit which is coming out soon, but I'll give you this one Grime bass for free, so I'll put a link to that in the description so you can make your own beats with it. The Grime bass that I've made, it's got a slow attack. You can see that it kind of fades in, so it sounds good sometimes, but for this one, kind of want it to come in straight away. I don't want as slow of an attack, so I'm going to adjust the start. And now I can hear a little clip because it's not starting from the beginning. So I'm going to come to the envelope. I've already got it turned on, so I treat it kind of like my 808s. I bring everything down but the hold. You don't have to bring the release up. I just want a tiny bit of release and then a tiny bit of attack to get rid of that clip. So you can see it's actually following the same pattern as a counter melody, them same notes. It was just what I was hearing in my head. I didn't want too much going on with the Grime bass, and like I said, this is just going to be one part of the beat. So the 808 will probably play at the beginning of each bar, and then these will play as like the passive notes. I actually want a bit of reverb on both of these. Them strings sound a little bit too dry, so I just want some reverb on this, not too much. I'm even going to put reverb on the Grime bass because why not? And then I've added an EQ to cut out some of that high energy because the Grime bass is quite distorted. And then I'm thinking some slides at the end. I don't want to go too crazy with the slides in this part because the grind bass is in, but I'm going to create a different 8-way pattern with more slides in and the grind bass out of it. Alright, let's pull in a hi-hat. And I'm just going to use a MIDI from a new drum kit. I'm actually working on a free MIDI kit soon, so some of these hi-hats are going to be included. That first one works straight away. Then I'll grab a kick from the new kit. Maybe just this one. I always have a classic clipper on the master channel with the slope just brought down a little bit. So as you just saw, I pitched up the grind bass because I thought it was getting a little bit muddy. I could have taken out some of the 8/8s, but I like the pattern that I had. I like the simplicity. So I've brought the grind bass up and then I've also panned it, and that has just sorted out the muddiness. So I'm kind of treating the grind bass like an instrument rather than just a bass. See what else we got in the perks. Definitely a triangle. Yeah, definitely that too. Well, maybe one more. I like that. Again. I think I need an open hat too. So when I use my open hats, I like to set it to cut itself, and then I like to stop it before the snare just so there's no overlapping. You don't have to do that, I just like the way it sounds. Could even pan these as well. Alright, so now I'm hearing some vocals because I definitely want to layer that coat over something. Yeah, that sounds sick. So that choir's fitting perfectly. I'm basically playing the same chord, but I'm just delaying it a little bit so it doesn't start straight at the same time. I'm just going to EQ that choir too, just to filter it out a bit. Alright, Alright, so now the only other thing that I need to do is obviously mix everything, but I want to create another pattern for the 808. So I want this one with a lot of slides without the grind bass. So I'm going to come up with something now. Alright, so I've got an 808 pattern, but I'm thinking I want a third pattern now because this one's a little bit hectic in the beginning, but I kind of like it. But I might just use this in one section of the beat and then just have a simplified version for the main verse. So I think I've got everything that I need right now, so I'm going to mix it properly and arrange it, and then I'll come up with that third 808 pattern and then show you the outcome. Alright, so I've mixed it and arranged everything, so I'm going to play it and then talk you through what I've done. You can see that I've added halftime, but that only comes in certain parts. It comes in at the start of the verse and the end of the verse, and then in the intro, I've basically just taken the melody and then pitched it down a full octave, but then taken out the counter melody until the second part of the intro. So you can see there's no counter melody there, and it comes in here. And then the hi-hats come in a little bit early.
JayCactus.
And back in. And then the grind bass. Basically everything comes in now. Perfect. So I'll just show you this bit quick because I said I was going to change the 808 pattern again and make a third one. All I wanted was a simplified version. I just didn't want all of them slides at the beginning like when I created the second pattern. So I've literally just cut them out, and it makes it seem like a different pattern because that's not happening in every 4 bars, if you get me. So it's just a little switch up. You can see that little bit's cut out. Break again. And then I've made a bridge here just with halftime and a couple of effects. So this just slows everything down before the hook. And then the grind bass comes back in the second part. Second verse just repeats. But actually I need to take this out because this is actually the start of the first hook, so I can just bring everything back now. So it should be like this. So the 808 sounding a lot better now. When I was actually making the pattern, something was sounding off, and it was a couple of the settings that I left on and I had to change, but it sounded good now. So I hope you liked the video and I hope you were feeling the beat. A lot of people ask me how to use grind bass and drill beats, so hopefully this has explained it a little bit, or at least explained my thought process. There aren't really any rules when you're making music, so just get creative with it. I like to use it as almost like a counter melody to my 808s, but it doesn't mean that you have to do that. But I have put a link to this specific grind bass in the description. It's one that I've designed from scratch. It's one of many that are going to be in my new drum kit. The new drum kit is crazy. It's got like double the sounds compared to the last one. There's 20 808s, 20 kicks, 20 hats, 20 claps. There's almost 20 everything. Loads of effects, grind bass, and then MIDI files as well. But I am releasing a free MIDI kit soon, which is going to have melodies, 808 patterns, and hi-hat patterns. So I'll let you know more about that soon, but it's just going to be for my subscribers. So if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.